Namaskar. Thank you, Chaviji, for your cordial welcome. Yes, 14th November is celebrated as World Diabetes Day all over the world. We, as a common man, as a specialist doctor, as a good human being who have got concern about the wellness of the society, when we think of diabetes, it's really a nightmare. At the same time, right understanding with right practices can make us to lead a happy and healthy life even with diabetes. More than 300 type 1 diabetic children leading a healthy and happy life is an example that everybody can achieve. So with this brief note, November being the awareness month for diabetes, Indian Yoga Association Uttarakhand chapter has organized a special webinar in which we have got unique people who have specialized in their field, working, doing research at the same time, adopting integrated methods to manage diabetes. In this, we have first speaker, Dr. Pratik Chaudhary, who specializes in type 1 diabetes, doing research and has a lot of experience working in various institutions in UK. Previously was working in King's College London, now he is associated with one more organization at Leicester. So he is a professor in diabetes at Leicester working presently, and special interest is his research work in type 1 diabetes. And we have a very good close association with Ramakrishna Mission, Haridwar. So on behalf of Indian Yoga Association Uttarakhand chapter, I introduce Dr. Pratik Chaudhary for his talk now. Dr. Chaudhary will talk on type 1 diabetes, its integrated approach. Welcome to Dr. Pratik. Unmute yourself.
Thank you, Swamiji, and a pleasure and honor to be with this group today. And as Swamiji said, through Ramakrishna Mission, I had the great pleasure of visiting the hospital that you run and meeting some of the children. And I was really surprised how integrating the kind of medical approach with yoga, with kind of mental health well-being, you were achieving results that were way better than many of the pediatric units that I am involved with and see here in the UK. So I just want to share some thoughts and process around the research that we have done. And just to say, I've been working in the UK. I was from Indore, but I've been working in the UK for 20 years, almost exclusively in type 1 diabetes. And mainly, a lot of the research in the UK and West is directed towards novel technologies, insulin pumps, closed loop systems. But the reality is that the person has to live with type 1 diabetes, and these technologies are difficult. As all the members on this call will know, in type 1 diabetes, you have absolute insulin deficiency, which means that there is much more variability in blood glucose. And it's a very relentless condition. Every minute, every day, the person has to be aware. If you make one mistake, you can have a bad hypo, you can have a DK. It's much less forgiving on a psychological perspective than type 2 diabetes per se, where people can carry on with their usual life, maybe having some adaptations in exercise and diet to some extent. And as my mentor, one of my boss used to tell me that there is almost no other condition which the person living with the condition has to work so hard to get so little return that they see back. So it really requires a lot of application from the person living with diabetes. And the main reason for this, and the main reason why it has a big physical but also psychological toll on the person, is the variability in glucose. Now, many of you will be familiar. These are continuous glucose monitoring traces, and each color means a different day, going from midnight on the left to midnight on the right. And what you can see is not only is every line ranging from a glucose of 5 or 90 milligram per deciliter up to maybe 20, which is 400 milligram per deciliter. So within the day, you have huge variation in glucose, but also even between days. So overnight, 2 nights this person's glucose is 15, about 300 milligram per deciliter, and some nights he's hypoglycemic, and some nights the glucose is in range. And what this day-to-day variability does is it makes it very hard when the patient comes and sees the doctor for us to make a change that will work. Yeah. So this is not a condition where you can see the doctor once every 3 months or 6 months, and I can say, increase your dose of insulin here, increase your tablet here, and the glucose will settle down, because every day is different. And within the day, every moment is different as well. And that's what makes this condition in particular much more challenging to manage than many other conditions you have before. And this is a lovely cartoon that I saw that we use a lot to say, when the person with diabetes comes and sees their doctor, you will hear a description. Patient often describes it. It's like going into the headmaster's office to get a report card, and the report card is HbA1c, and the HbA1c is never perfect. So it's like however hard you work, sugar is always up and down. And the patient has to keep a calm face, and they have to, even through the day, when they're working, when they're playing, when they're studying, when they're doing anything, there's lots of things. Where's my sugar? Am I going to go low? Am I going to go high? Have I got my insulin? What have I got my blood sugar check? How will people perceive me? I have diabetes. Will they think of me in a different way? So there's a lot going inside the mind, which many times as doctors with a focus on physical health, we don't really approach. And so compared to other medical conditions, when you have all this variability, I've got that on the slide at the top, the doctor's role, what the doctor can change is maybe change some doses, increase the insulin 2 units here, 1 unit there. Maybe we can change the insulin. Let's go from an older soluble Humulin insulin to a novel new analog Novorapid or Fiasp. Maybe we can advise some additional medication, some change in diet. But actually the impact of those things is really small. In type 1 diabetes compared to anything else, the patient's role is much bigger. What behaviors they're doing? Are they how often they're checking their glucose? Biggest predictor of outcome, how well they do. Are they injecting pre-meal? Are they covering their snacks? Do they know to reduce the insulin with exercise? Are they using that glucose reading when it's high to do a correction dose, when it's low to manage things? And are they checking the profile to know when to adjust things? So there's a lot of work and thinking that is needed. And to do that, the patient needs to be motivated, needs to be in a calm state of mind, needs to be balanced when they're doing things. And because the thing is, because every day is different. Some days you're very active, some days you're very sedentary, some days you're very stressed, and all of those different factors alter the amount of insulin you need on any given time, any given day. Also, your mood is variable. Some days you feel good about yourself, some days you're struggling, someone has said something, particularly for someone living with diabetes, cultural connotations, work issues. And then the way we use the insulin with injection sites, there's variability there. So when we get variability in blood sugars, that can itself affect the mood. If someone's sugar levels are good, that day they feel much better. If someone's sugar levels are really high, they feel much worse. And sometimes you can see this kind of disruptive cycle of sugar levels are not good, I'm getting stressed, and that's making the sugar levels even worse. And this is a really common factor we see. So some of the work that I got involved with as someone who's dealing a lot with diabetes technology and all the latest closed loop systems and pumps and sensors, we realize there's still a lot of human element in type 1 diabetes. And one of the terms that in the last 4 or 5 years has become very prominent here in the West is diabetes distress. And we call that the emotional distress or problem or pain associated with all the worries and burdens and concerns that happen in type 1 diabetes. And what we know is that the higher the HbA1c, the more likely it is that there is more diabetes distress and that the patient is not doing all those tasks. It's just too much for them and they can't manage it. The other link is in type 1 diabetes, about 30% of type 1 diabetes often will have a degree of depression. Now again, mental health is something that here I think people are much more open talking about it, but still maybe it's a bit more difficult to talk about mental health and depression in Indian culture. But it's important to recognize that and address it, because if someone is depressed because the diabetes is not under control, then their ability to undertake all the changes we ask them, inject for your meals, check your blood sugar, they can't. Even if they want to do it, they can't do it if they've got depression or high diabetes distress. And so you can see that if someone is depressed, there is reduced self-care behaviors, reduced injections, reduced testing, reduced exercise, all those lifestyle events that are going to help people manage their diabetes better. And if that happens, then they're going to have high HbA1c, greater variability, maybe even more hypos, because if you miss your injection, then you have a high number, then you take a big dose, and then you have more hypo as well. So both those things happen, and that again can lead to depression. And one of the things that we picked up, so these are data that we collected in our clinic. We have more than 2,000 type 1s in our service. And if you look at the green bars, it shows people who have low diabetes distress. And you can see as you go from HbA1c of target, even with target, half the people are scoring high on diabetes distress. So that good diabetes control is coming at some emotional and psychological expense. But as you move across to people with high HbA1c, more than 8.5%, you can see the proportion with very high distress grows. And so that again is saying that unless we address that, unless we give patients tools, techniques, strategies by which they can calm down their inner self, adapt to what the condition they have, they can't really deal with all the things required for type 1 diabetes. With that high distress, it could be, of course, it can be things outside diabetes. It could be what's happening at work, what's happening at school, what's happening in their relationships with their family, friends, and spouses. It could be financial issues. It could be things around diabetes, in particular, fear of complications. Mera kya hoga? Aage kya hoga mujhe? Will I lose my eyes? Will I lose my feet? It can be this burnout, which we call, which is every day without fail. I have to check my sugar 3-5 times a day, take injections, and there's no day off. There's no holiday. You cannot stop it at any point. And so all these things, we are starting to recognize these things and identify when it's happening. But at the moment, we don't really have many tools to address it. And so if you look at the impact of yoga, and there's many studies now with yoga, and what I found was most of those studies are all in type 2 diabetes. And I'm sure Dr. Mahesh will talk about this later, about the beneficial impact of maybe the physical aspect of yoga, of the exercise and making things better on glucose control and resistance and lipid profiles and blood pressure. And this metabolic factor is all really important in type 2 diabetes. But in type 1 diabetes, many of these people have normal blood pressure, normal cholesterol. The main benefit of yoga and this maybe in type 2 diabetes, maybe by calming down the blood pressure, calming down the heart rate, but in particular, calming down perceived stress, calming down the mind and the soul, making them calmer, more in sync with themselves, bringing down that diabetes distress and depression mindset, and doing that, improving sleep, improving mood, helping them cope with their condition better. And so I had a brief talk, but I think in type 1 diabetes, I think we have to recognize that simply adjusting the doses of insulin here or there is not really a huge difference, because every day is different. And so it's really important we look at the person behind the numbers. Sorry, I wrote it the wrong way around. Look at the person behind the numbers. Look at the person living with diabetes. We have to recognize those changes, speak to them with empathy and support. And I think the peer support group set up by Swamiji at the hospital really show how when people are provided an opportunity to meet together, to calm down, to get into sync with each other and learn from each other how you can still do the things you need to do with type 1 diabetes. That makes a big difference, and supporting both mental and physical health through yoga will undoubtedly have beneficial and complementary effects on the people living with diabetes. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pratik Chaudhary. That was a wonderful talk. Based on your research work, your experience, the important point that you have made out is a very important thing for all of us: diabetes distress and the impact of yoga. So we have to take the patient as a whole. That will help us to help the patient in a better way. Thank you very much for your wonderful, knowledgeful and very inspiring talk, and always it's very nice to see you. We'll meet again. So next I move on to Dr. Mahesh. Dr. Mahesh, who is an endocrinologist based in Bangalore, after completing his DM endocrinology from CMC Vellore, presently he is practicing in various hospitals in Bangalore. Again, he is associated with Ramakrishna Mission Haridwar and the diabetic children here, and he is very knowledgeable, very dedicated, and he has that right approach to patients. So now I request Dr. Mahesh to give his talk on role of integrated medicine in the management of type 2 diabetes mainly. Mahesh.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to discuss. After the wonderful talk on type 1 diabetes, we'll move on briefly to type 2 diabetes and then discuss what is the integrated approach. So like we all know, World Diabetes Day is coming November 14th. So the integrated management, usually we always look at the reliability of the patient's dependence on the good diet, exercise, and taking medicines. So these are something that are to be done by the patient. But for the patient to do that, we need a team that will help us make the patient understand the importance of taking care of themselves, empowering themselves. So for that, it has been recognized finally after years of insisting about diabetes educators that nurses make the huge difference, and there are 6 million nurses needed for management of diabetes itself for the sake of diabetic care. So it is something that I think will go on increasing as we go ahead. So to integrate the management of diabetes, we need not only a doctor, the patient, their relatives, but also a nurse. And I know very well that in type 1 diabetes, the role of a diabetes nurse is really one of the most important roles that anybody can play. She or he is probably the pivot under which the care can be given. So with this, I will briefly talk about diabetes and then the integrated care. So diabetes should not be looked at as a disease of high blood glucose, because what happens is that the patients think that, okay, my sugar is under control, my sugar is high. If I don't have symptoms, I will have no problem. So why should I worry about my diabetes if my sugars are not very high? So diabetes is high blood glucose level, but it is a neurovascular disease. It is the leading cause of kidney failure, blindness, and loss of limbs, as we all know. So we all know the picture that we can see in front of us. The patient with good diabetes care will look like the right half of the body. Patient with poor glycemic control will look like a left half of the body, but may not have any symptoms till the last stage comes. So this is something that is not typically seen in many other diseases, where there will be stages of symptoms, but in diabetes you can be asymptomatic and directly end up with the complication. So diabetes has to be taught as a neurovascular disease to the patient so that we are able to make them change their habits. So with this, I will talk about the natural history, pathology, monitoring advances, and management in terms of what are the latest availability. So in natural history, we should always remember that when the patient diagnosed to have diabetes, except those who do regular yearly screening, if we diagnose that today you have diabetes, that is high blood glucose, it means that almost 5 years ago you are in.
Unmute please, Mahesh. Mahesh, please unmute. Yeah.
So if you diagnose to have diabetes, it means that 5 years earlier the pathology has started. So it is very important to understand that when a patient has diabetes in front of you, it means that his pathology has started years ago. In type 1 diabetes, the pathology is not started years ago. It is usually within weeks or few months maximum. So there is a major difference. Therefore, we see macrovascular complications occurring late in type 1 diabetes, whereas in type 2 diabetes, they can be there at the beginning. At the onset, you can have a myocardial infarction, you can have a renal dysfunction, you can have retinopathy, you can also have peripheral vascular disease at the onset. So it is important that not only we diagnose and look at the blood glucose, but we also look at other parameters, blood pressure, cholesterol, and screen for complications. That is where the role of a nurse is very important to understand the current status of the patient and then manage accordingly. So what is important to understand in India is that we are at least 10 years ahead in terms of the onset of diabetes. So the current screening age recommended by ADA is around 45, but in India it is 35. So we are 10 years earlier. Same thing we also note with cardiovascular disease. Myocardial infarction is 10 years earlier in India as compared to Western population. One of the reasons for this is our habits with abdominal obesity, high carbohydrate intake, insulin resistance, which is present even if you don't have a high BMI. So we can have a normal BMI with insulin resistance, which makes it very important to understand that we need to take care of our diet and exercise very early. Why is it important is just this picture I want to share. Between 2002 and 12, there has been a huge impact on our habits in terms of availability of resources. We have more two-wheelers, more cars available in rural areas and urban areas. We have more carbohydrate-rich diet intake in rural and urban areas, which has resulted in rural and urban increase of more than 10 to 15% in just 10 years in the onset of diabetes, both in men and women. And we need to be very alert in terms of making this knowledge available to children even when they are aged 10, 12 years also, not just look at adults in terms of diabetes. So let me go on to pathology. As I just told you that insulin resistance is the key. We always thought that peripheral insulin resistance with low insulin secretion and high hepatic glucose is the three traditional triad pathology of diabetes. But today we know there are almost 8 or even 10 factors, which include decreased incretin, increased lipolysis, increased glucose reabsorption, neurotransmitter dysfunction like diabetes, distress, depression, stress, all increase insulin resistance indirectly. There is a alpha cell dysfunction, therefore the glucagon levels are either high or sometimes very low, resulting in fluctuations in the blood glucose levels, and along with the insulin resistance, decrease insulin secretion and increase hepatic glucose output. Also, we should understand that diabetes is a spectrum. It is not just a complex of three factors, that is insulin resistance, beta cell and risk factor, but it can vary from patient to patient, and it is a spectrum that can vary from type 1 diabetes to late onset autoimmune diabetes to type 2 diabetes, where the response to medicines depends on the individual patient. Tablet, insulin, all should be considered as a part of the management. So currently we have, these are the 8 to 10, 11 factors that are involved in the pathology of diabetes, moving beyond the 8 factors, which additionally include the colonic microbiome, the immune dysregulation, decreased amylin, as the 3 other factors that are resulting in increased glucose levels in the body. Therefore, the drugs have an effect on various parts of the body. So let me move on to simplifying this for our clinical discussion. For a common man, what we need to know. For a common man, we need to know that 80% of diabetes is a nutritional disorder resulting in cardiovascular and neurovascular diseases that can be tackled just by diet and regular exercise if we start very early. And it is pre-diabetes, diabetes, obesity is a cycle. So what happens is that in patients with insulin resistance, there is more insulin secretion, which results in hypertension because of the vascular endothelial dysfunction, results in beta cell exhaustion, and there is a relative beta cell deficiency resulting in type 2 diabetes, which is the high blood glucose level. As more insulin is secreted, weight gain increases in the patient with the family history of diabetes. There is increased need for glucose. Beta cells secrete more insulin, liver and muscles fat. There is insulin resistance, then there is more insulin secretion, and this becomes a vicious cycle that ends up finally with beta cell exhaustion and patient developing complications and requiring high doses of insulin sometimes. So in the management of diabetes, blood glucose is the key factor. But along with blood glucose, what we always mention is HbA1c. Like we just learned from type 1 diabetes that HbA1c is the center of our decision making process. But we understand currently that HbA1c is good in 70-75% of the patients, but in 30% of the patients, HbA1c does not give us a full picture because of some factors that are important. First, HbA1c does not capture hypoglycemia, and recently we have found in the last 3 years or 4 years that hypoglycemia increases all the complications of diabetes. You may be surprised. Array, hyperglycemia is the cause of all complications. Hypoglycemia, why should it cause all complications? It should result only in one complications, that is the neuroglycopenic symptoms and its complications related to very low blood glucose. But we all know from the ACCORD trial that low HbA1c is corresponding to high cardiovascular morbidity and mortality. Therefore, one of the reasons for that is higher hypoglycemia levels. There are some hemoglobinopathies, iron deficiency pregnancy, where HbA1c is not reliable and it does not capture glycemic variability, which I will just mention briefly. Glycemic variability is the day-to-day fluctuation in the glucose level and not the average. So if the fluctuation is more than 100, it means that the variability is high. Therefore, there is an impact on the vascular endothelium and the WBCs, which results in increased infection and vascular comorbidities. So this is just to show you what happens in a patient with glycemic variability. You can see here that when we check the glucose level at some points, we will be checking the at points of pre-meal, we'll be seeing that only one value is high. But we will not realize that the value just before the high value was very low, or the value before it is low is very high. So which means that we can have values that are looking normal with the glucometer at 3 points, but if you do a continuous glucose monitoring, you will be able to find out the glycemic variability of these patients. So in order to move beyond HbA1c, we need to look at glycemic variability, and therefore in order to understand this, we need to do continuous glucose monitoring, which reveals more than what we see, and therefore it helps us to navigate the patient and make their life much better and improve their overall quality of life. So just now I told you what is glycemic variability. This is a pictorial representation. You can see both patient A and patient B have HbA1c of 8, but we want the second chart to be the correct way of representing in a patient glycemic parameters. We don't want these, which we sometimes see in type 1 diabetes, these values, and sometimes we think that okay, HbA1c is fine, don't worry. But we have to understand that HbA1c may be high, but we will have more complications if we have these values or these fluctuations in our patients. Therefore, currently beyond HbA1c, there is a need for looking at time in range, which means that 70% of the time in 24 hours, the patient glucose value should be between 70 to 180. Below 70, it should not be more than 4%, and above 180, it should not be more than 20%. So, if we find that the patient has a variable glucose level, we can do continuous glucose monitoring, and the recommendations are: if HbA1c is high, fasting plasma glucose is normal. If HbA1c is normal, fasting plasma glucose is very high or very low. Patient with recurrent episodes of hypoglycemia, patient who has poor lifestyle adherence, non-compliant to treatment, where instead of increasing the dose, you can just order for a CGM and ask the patient to exercise. Continuous glucose monitoring, we have two types. One is the flash glucose monitoring device, which can help us understand the patterns of hyperglycemia and the shape of the median curve to know where is the higher values throughout the period of 1 to 2 weeks cycle. So this is how it looks. You can see some days there is hypoglycemia, some days there is hyperglycemia in the end. So this helps us to adjust the dose of the medicine and ask the patient to change their diet and lifestyle. The other CGM is the continuous glucose monitoring Medtronic device, which is having a transmitter that can be connected to our iPhone, and you can get a direct reading as we are going around doing our routine work. At every 5th minute, it will give a reading. It will also show a graph which will show variable patterns of glucose levels so that we can address the patient's concerns and address our concern. So with this, I have let me summarize what I have just told you. we learned that diabetes is a neurovascular disease. We need integrated approach in terms of lifestyle management and use of a nurse to educate the patient. We learned the pathology of diabetes starts very early. It involves 8 to 11 factors. We also learned that in order to monitor, we should not just look at blood glucose, we should look at HbA1c. We should look at HbA1c. We learned from all our previous learnings in the last 15-20 years. But now we are learning that beyond HbA1c, we need something called as glycemic monitoring to address the glycemic variability in terms of continuous glucose monitoring. And we currently have two methods of continuous glucose monitoring. With this, we'll move on to treatment briefly and then summarize everything. So the old approach was to look at the patient, start the one drug, add on the drugs individually, metformin, sulfonylurea, insulin, GLP-1 analog, and DPP-4 inhibitor. But today, the management of hyperglycemia is based on various pathophysiologies, and we can identify the pathophysiology of the patient based on what he or she fits into, and we can manage them accordingly, give the particular drug addressing the concerns that I have already highlighted. So currently, diabetes, like I told you, is a neurovascular disease. We have to look at the cardiovascular parameters, that is the heart and the kidney. If the patient has a predominant heart or a kidney issue, you should go for SGLT2 inhibitors and GLP-1 analog. If they don't have heart or kidney issue, then you can take it drug by drug depending on the patient's weight, affordability, and his lifestyle. So you can give the medicine according to his needs. So we have to adjust the drug to the patient. So currently, if the cardiovascular diseases are predominant, then the preferred drug is SGLT2 inhibitors. If the patient has a low ejection fraction, SGLT2 is predominant. If the patient has a high ejection fraction with cardiovascular disease, GLP-1 is preferred. Like I always say to all my colleagues and friends, that the first rule of diabetes care is do no harm. So this is a chart that is easy to understand for a clinical patient, that we need to look at hypoglycemia, weight gain, renal factors, GI factors, cardiovascular factors, and bone when we want to give a drug. So we have to look at them and adjust the medicine, and appropriate dose should be given. Last but not the least, who needs insulin? Type 1 diabetes patients, we already learned, needs insulin always throughout his life. Patients with pancreatic diabetes, most of the gestational diabetes patients in their last trimester, some type 2 diabetes who are admitted with severe hyperglycemia and ketosis, and sometimes with acute illness, organ failures, hyperosmotic ketotic coma, or decay in the patient. So we have the various different types of insulin. It has evolved over the last say 40-50 years. Newer insulins have come, whereas the first 50 years, that is from 1921 to 1950, we had only hardly 1 or 2 insulin. Today we have multiple insulins that can address the need of the patient. They look at the regular insulin, normal pancreas mimicking fast-acting insulin, ultra-fast-acting insulin, and long-acting insulin. So in order to deliver this insulin, we usually use syringe and pen. Today we have something beyond the insulin syringe and pen, that is the CGM attached insulin pump. Insulin pump is a device that can load insulin and deliver to the subcutaneous tissue at a rate that is predetermined, and it can vary from 0.1 to 1 unit or even more. What happens in a pen is that, or a needle, we have to calibrate only 1 unit. Whereas with a CGM, we can calibrate with 0.1, 0.2 units. That is where it helps in managing hyper and hypoglycemia and addressing the glycemic variability in type 1 diabetes patients. This is the picture of the pump where the cannula is attached to the subcutaneous tissue, and the pump will give, we can give the insulin dose accordingly, and it will also, it is attached to a CGM, it will also give the glucose value. The newer pumps have a self-stopping mechanism that they will shut down when the glucose values come down below 70 if a CGM is attached. So that is the advantage of the newer pumps. So pumps offer more insulin stable action because of the small units of adjustment. Therefore, it always is superior to other forms of insulin therapy when we have poor glycemic control or high glycemic variability. So this is just to show the Medtronic chart, how it comes to us. It gives us all the values of the glucose level and also the insulin that we have taken with only one prick for 3-4 days, you can give insulin 7 to 8 times in a day. Last but not the least, the treatment of end-stage treatment that is available in few places, that is beta cell replacement in terms of pancreas or islet cell replacement. Islet cell is minimally invasive, less efficient. Pancreatic transplant is high efficiency, major surgery requiring continuous chemotherapy later on. So when do we indicate labile diabetes patients and patients who are already requiring immunosuppression in terms of renal failure? So type 1 diabetes with renal failure and requiring transplant can go for transplant of both the kidney and the pancreas. So average over a period of 10 years, there is a decline of the beta cell function, and we have to understand that it's not an end stage one-time solution. So finally, let me summarize what is integrated management. Like we all realize that more distress, more is the HbA1c. So the distress, depression, stress always is above us. So we need to ask that question: are you in distress? Is there anything bothering you? Because if it is bothering, it will affect his diet intake, it will affect his exercise, it will affect his test decision making processes, it will affect his medicine intake. So that is why we need a nurse to ask this question, because sometimes the patient may not talk to a doctor. We also remember, like I tell my patient, it is like driving a car, and I ask them which is the most important wheel in the car. Some people will say front wheel, some people will say back wheel. I will just ask one question: if one tire is punctured, then how will the car move? So we have to always understand that all are important. If your head is not in place, you cannot drive the vehicle. If your front tire is punctured, the vehicle will not move. Therefore, it is very important to understand that all are important. Like I tell, which is more important for a doctor in terms of patient, I tell that you are the navigator, you are the driver. The front wheel will move in your control, that is diet and exercise. The direction in which you move diet and exercise is the direction in which the tests and the medicine will move. Therefore, my role is 25%, but my role is to stand with you 100%, but provide 25% support. It is your role to tell me what is difficult for you, and so that we can address the 75% that you are in charge of. With this, I will take the last slide and say that we have to detect diabetes early, we have to manage diabetes with integrated approach, and we have to prevent diabetes in their family. Taking medicine is not the only thing. Like the 7 colors of the rainbow, it includes healthy eating, being active, regular monitoring, taking medicines, helping them solve the problems, reducing the future risks, and helping them cope with diabetes concerns. Every family, not only the patient, the family is also in the center of our care. Thank you very much for a patient listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahesh. You have given a comprehensive idea about type 2 diabetes, right from the basics to the latest research. Very important point that I would like to bring to the notice of my common audience. जब हम शुगर की बात करते हैं, शुगर बढ़ा हुआ है इसलिए दिक्कत है, उससे हम बहुत डरे हुए हैं. लेकिन शुगर जो लो हो रहा, हाइपोग्लाइसीमिया, जिसको हम ग्लाइसेमिक वेरिएशन के नाम से जानते हैं, अगर लो शुगर होता है वो भी बहुत दिक्कत करता है. ये नहीं कि शुगर बहुत लो हो के इमरजेंसी में आ गया, ठीक हो के फिर घर चले गए, वो तो ऑब्वियस है. साथ साथ में अगर बार बार उसको थोड़े थोड़े लो शुगर्स बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहे हैं तो वो भी बहुत कंसर्न की बात है. तो दिस इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट टू बी नोटेड, एंड वी शुड टेक केयर ऑफ आवर friends and relatives who are with us with proper diabetes management. Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation, Dr. Mahesh. Now we move on to our next speaker, Dr. Sushil Sharma, who is an interventional cardiologist based in Maryland, USA, America, has more than 30 years of experience, and with his vast practice as an interventional cardiologist, he is now more into wellness coach, a cardiologist talking about integrated approach for wellness. We are very fortunate to have with us as our third speaker, and I'm also proud to say that we are also running a program together under the name IWSP, about which Anirban will be speaking later. So now I invite Dr. Sushil Sharma to speak on integrated wellness science and practice. Sushil Sharma.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you very much for a kind introduction, and thank you to Prateek ji and Mahesh ji for giving us great insight into type 1 and type 2 diabetes, both with regards to pathophysiology and medications and management, and the nuances of wherein the prevention fits into the scheme. So that's great. Let me go on slide share. Okay, let me go through more. So there was a request. देवांती जी ने अनुरोध किया कि कृपया हिंदी में बोलिए, तो you will be happy to know कि मुझे भी हिंदी बोलने में बड़ा आनंद आता है. So we will be speaking in both languages. So integrated wellness, science and practice. 4 शब्द हैं इसमें. Integrated. What is it that we integrate? We integrated many levels. जहाँ से भी जो भी अच्छा मिला, योगा से, मेडिटेशन से, प्राणायाम से, डाइट से, एक्टिविटी से, साइंस से, we integrate all that into one. तो उसको सबको मिला करके and then we create a program that is for your wellness. तो जहाँ से भी मिला, कहीं की ईंट, कहीं का रोड़ा, भानुमति ने कुनबा जोड़ा. Wellness. What exactly are we talking about wellness here? Well, we're talking about wellness not just of your body, but also of your mind. Healthy mind gives you healthy body. 2 of the greatest impediments to your wellness are your habits and your stress. Stress is ubiquitous. You may realize it, you may not realize it, but your hypothalamus, your pituitary, your endocrine, your mind, your neurocircuitry, your neurohormones, they all recognize stress and behave accordingly. And they increase your sympathetic activity, they suppress your parasympathetic activity, and the whole cascade of neurobiochemical hazards starts. And therein lies all the lifestyle-based illnesses that we encounter. तो बहुत ज़रूरी है स्ट्रेस को कम करना, बहुत ज़रूरी है आदतों को बदलना, भोजन को बदलना और एक्टिव रहना. So this is what we integrate. We only talk about scientifically proven methods. हम कोई भी ऐसी प्रैक्टिस आपको नहीं बताएंगे जो scientifically proven नहीं है, जिस पे रिसर्च नहीं हुआ है और जो evidence based नहीं है. And we only give you practices which are practical and easy to practice. वो practices जो 1 महीने तक आप हमारे साथ करेंगे, अगर आप हमारा प्रोग्राम करेंगे, एंड वो मैंने और स्वामी जी ने कंखल में साथ 1 महीना करी. And we did it on ourselves. We saw the benefit, both me and स्वामी जी. और वही प्रोग्राम जो है हम आपको बताएंगे कि कैसे करना है. तो बड़ा आसान है, आप लॉग इन करिए serimed.in पर, उधर IWSP का लोगो है, उस पर क्लिक करिए और ज्वाइन करिए. हमारा नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम जो है नवंबर 16 से शुरू होगा और दिसंबर 17 तक होगा. वेब बेस्ड प्रोग्राम है, आपके घर में बैठे बैठे आपको सब कुछ मिलेगा, योगा, ध्यान, प्राणायाम, साइंस, प्रैक्टिस, एवरीथिंग. एंड वी विल डू इट टुगेदर एंड एंजॉय एंड हैव फन. So we talked about the complication of the diabetes. देखिए, एक point, just 1 point of hemoglobin A1C if you reduce, your chances of dying go down by 21%. आपका हार्ट अटैक 14% गिर जाता है. माइक्रोवैस्कुलर डिजीज कहते हैं, आपके आंखों में जो अंधापन आ जाता है, गुर्दे में जो फेलियर आ जाता है, ये भी 43% कम हो जाता है. तो as earlier speakers said, it's extremely important to control your diabetes and control it in a proper way. They are specialists in type 1 and type 2 diabetes. I specialize in wellness and overall holistic approach to wellness. So I'm going to focus on that. What causes type 2 diabetes? Debatable and multifactorial possibly. लेकिन 3 चीजें जो हैं वो कंट्रीब्यूट करती हैं. लाइफस्टाइल, आपकी जीवन शैली, जीवन पद्धति, जीन्स, आपने क्या इनहेरिट किया, वो जीन्स हैं. एनवायरनमेंट around you, and the environment is both your external environment and your internal environment. आपके अंदर भी एक एनवायरनमेंट है, योर माइंड, दैट इज योर इंटरनल एनवायरनमेंट। तीनों को आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। नाउ देयर इज एम्पल एविडेंस दैट देयर आर wellness based practices that change your genetic expression. If you change the expression of genes, you have modulated your genetic predisposition. Lifestyle you change, जीवन पद्धति, उसके बारे में हम डिटेल में बात करेंगे। आप अपना बाहरी एनवायरनमेंट भी चेंज करें, लेकिन अंदर का एनवायरनमेंट ज़्यादा चेंज करें। अपनी हेल्थ हैबिट्स को कैसे चेंज करें, अपने स्ट्रेस को कैसे चेंज करें। सो आइए उसके बारे में कुछ थोड़ी बात करते हैं। The integrated wellness science and practice that we have created is really based on three very important neurobiopsychological concepts. Dr. Mahesh has alluded to endothelial integrity. Endothelium आपके सारे शरीर में पाइप्स हैं। सारी पाइप जो है वो खून लेके जाती है आपके गुर्दे में, दिमाग में, दिल में, टांगों में, आंखों में। वो पाइप के अंदर की जो एक लेयर की झिल्ली होती है उसे एंडोथेलियम कहते हैं। अगर उसको आप डैमेज कर दे तो हर जगह ब्लड सप्लाई जो है वो खराब हो जाती है एंड हर एक ऑर्गन में प्रॉब्लम आने लगती है। एंड दैट इज हाउ डायबिटीज कॉजेज मेजर प्रॉब्लम्स। द वैस्कुलर प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ डायबिटीज जो आप सुनते हैं, स्ट्रोक, हार्ट अटैक, किडनी फेलियर, एम्पुटेशन, रेटिनल प्रॉब्लम्स, वो सब बिकॉज ऑफ एंडोथेलियल डैमेज है। तो उसको कैसे बचाना है? सर्केडियन सिंक्रोनी ये है कि हर चीज, एवरीथिंग इन योर बॉडी इज ऑन अ क्लॉक। यू आर ऑन अ क्लॉक। रात को आंखें अपने आप बंद हो जाती हैं जब सूरज नीचे जाता है। देयर इज अ क्लॉक दैट इज इन योर ब्रेन दैट डज दैट। सिमिलरली देयर इज अ क्लॉक इन एवरी ऑर्गन ऑफ योर बॉडी। आपके गुर्दे की क्लॉक है, आपके स्टमक की क्लॉक है, आपके हृदय की क्लॉक है, आपके फेफड़ों की क्लॉक है। इट्स अ सर्टेन वे टू वर्क। हर एक चीज को हर वक्त आप चलाते रहेंगे तो मशीनरी खराब हो जाएगी। तो आपको ये चीज ध्यान में रखनी है, उसको सिंक्रोनाइज करना है। उसके लिए आपको लाइफ में डिसिप्लिन लाना है, आपको अनुशासन करना है और नियंत्रण करना है, दोनों करने हैं। एंड मेंटल रेजिलियंस इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट। अगर आपका माइंड अनहेल्थी है तो आपकी बॉडी अनहेल्थी होगी। हेल्थी माइंड वो है जो स्ट्रेस नहीं फील करता। हेल्थी माइंड वो है जिसकी सोच सही है। हेल्थी माइंड वो है जिसमें विवेक है। तो कैसे हेल्थी माइंड लाते हैं, हम आपको साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन हेल्थी माइंड प्रैक्टिसेस भी बताएंगे। तो पहले चलते हैं आहार पे, डाइट। सो आवर प्रोग्राम इज कॉल्ड डैश टू वेलनेस, इजी टू रिमेंबर। डी फॉर डाइट, ए फॉर एक्टिविटी, एस फॉर स्ट्रेस एंड एच फॉर हैबिट्स। इन चारों में सबसे पहले आती है आपकी डाइट। वी रेकमेंड होल फूड प्लांट बेस्ड डाइट। आपका सारा खाना जो है वो होल होना चाहिए। ग्रेन आपका, जैसे कि आटा लेते हैं आप, चक्की में पिसा दिया आपने, उसको सफेद कर दिया। चावल लेते हैं, सफेद कर दिया, वो गलत है। उससे आपकी डायबिटीज बहुत खराब होगी। तो आप होल ग्रेन, पूरा अनाज खाइए। खूब सब्जी खाइए, कलर्ड सब्जी खाइए, खूब फल खाइए। लेकिन आपको डायबिटीज है तो थोड़ा संतरा, केला और अंगूर, इससे दूर रहिए। एंड लेग्यूम्स कहते हैं चना, राजमा, दालें, ये आपको सब प्रोटीन देती हैं। आपको कोई भी मीट, चिकन, फिश, अंडा खाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। यू गेट ब्यूटीफुल प्रोटीन फ्रॉम द लेग्यूम्स दैट यू ईट। तो ये समझ लीजिए कि एक प्लेट को बना करके उसके 4 कंपोनेंट आपने कर दिए। तो 1/4 में सब्जी डालिए, 1/4 में फल डालिए, 1/4 में ये राजमा दाल डालिए, 1/4 ग्रेन हो गया, जिसमें चाहे तो आप ब्राउन राइस ले सकते हैं या होल ग्रेन चपाती ले सकते हैं, या अलग अच्छे अच्छे भी ग्रेन आते हैं। मिलेट आती है, ज्वार आता है, बाजरा आता है, पिसा हुआ नहीं, सफेद नहीं। अगर ये आप खा रहे हैं तो आप बहुत ही अच्छा अनाज खा रहे हैं। your diet is really a very healthy diet. The 4 white foods you have to avoid. अब देखिए इसमें कुछ बातें ऐसी होंगी जो आपको पसंद आएंगी तो उन्हें बदल लीजिएगा। जो पसंद ना आए उनको दिमाग में रहने दीजिएगा, उस पर विचार कीजिएगा। ठीक है? You have to avoid sugar in every sweet, every shape and form. आपको मीठा खाना है, फल खाइए। मिल्क एंड मिल्क प्रोडक्ट कम करिए। जब आप बच्चे थे ठीक था, मिल्क की जरूरत थी। बड़े होने के बाद मिल्क कैन कॉज प्रॉब्लम्स। मिनिमाइज मिल्क एंड मिल्क प्रोडक्ट। अगर मिल्क पीना है तो 1% मिल्क पीजिए, स्किम मिल्क पीजिए या प्लांट मिल्क पीजिए। पॉलिश्ड राइस एंड पॉलिश्ड फ्लावर यू हैव टू गेट अवे फ्रॉम एंड गो टू होल ग्रेन। और नमक कम कीजिए। The commonest cause of high blood pressure in India is excessive salt intake. यहाँ मैंने 5 तरह का नमक डाल दिया आपके लिए, तो एक चीज अगर आप लेके जा रहे हैं आज तो लेके जाइए, 5 नमकों में कोई फर्क नहीं है. All salt is salt. Every salt gives you 32 to 42 milligrams sodium. So don't fool yourself by saying कि मैं ये वाला नमक ले लूं या उसका नमक ले लूं. Only potassium salt that comes as no salt is the only salt that gives you potassium instead of sodium, and sodium is what causes your high blood pressure. तो अगर आपकी प्लेट है तो आप समझ लीजिए 3/4 जो प्लेट है उसको रंगीन कर दीजिए. रंगीन सब्जियां, रंगीन फल और रंगीन लेग्यूम्स मैंने बताया, चना, काला, राजमा, लोबिया, दाल पीली, इसको रंगीन कर दीजिए. मेक 1/4 ऑफ योर प्लेट बेज. बेज को हम लोग ब्राउन, भूरा कहते हैं, जैसे कि ब्राउन राइस और होल ग्रेन रोटी. ब्राउन रंग की चपाती, सफेद रंग की चपाती नहीं लगाइए, सफेद आटा मत खाइए, और सफेद को 0 कर दो. तो अगर ये आपकी प्लेट है तो आपकी डायबिटीज ठीक होगी, आपका शुगर ठीक होगा, आपका ब्लड प्रेशर ठीक होगा, आपका कोलेस्ट्रॉल ठीक होगा. यू विल हैव लेस चांस ऑफ गेटिंग स्ट्रोक, हार्ट अटैक एंड दोस प्रॉब्लम्स. 3/4 रंगीन, 1/4 भूरा और सफेद को निकाल दीजिए अपने. Second component that we talk about is activity. And Dr. Mahesh alluded to that, and Dr. Pratik also. Activity is good for endothelial integrity. Activity is good for controlling blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, preventing heart attack and stroke and certain cancers. तो एक्टिव रहिए. आप अगर 150 मिनट की वॉक करते हैं, ब्रिस्क वॉकिंग, तो और थोड़ा सा वेट ट्रेनिंग करते हैं, पर आप योगा कर रहे हैं तो आपको दोनों मिल रहा है. So how do you tell brisk walking और कौन सी एक्सरसाइज करनी है? बड़ी सिंपल बात है. अगर आप चल रहे हैं और आप बोल भी सकते हैं और गा भी सकते हैं, दिस इज कॉल्ड लाइट वॉक. अगर आप चल रहे हैं, आप गा नहीं सकते लेकिन आप बोल सकते हैं, इट इज कॉल्ड ब्रिस्क वॉक. और अगर आप चल रहे हैं बहुत तेज या दौड़ रहे हैं, आप गा भी नहीं सकते और आप बोल भी नहीं सकते, दैट इज कॉल्ड विगरस एक्टिविटी. सो मॉडरेट एक्टिविटी आपको 150 मिनट मीन्स 2.5 घंटे कम से कम एक हफ्ते में. एंड मॉडरेट एक्टिविटी वो है कि जिसमें आप चल तो रहे हैं, बोल भी रहे हैं, लेकिन गा नहीं सकते. तो ऐसी एक्टिविटी आप करिए. या फिर हम कहते हैं अगर आप योगा, ध्यान और प्राणायामा ये तीनों कर रहे हैं तो आपको सब कुछ मिल रहा है. आपके मस्तिष्क के लिए, आपके लंग्स के लिए आपको ध्यान और प्राणायाम मिल रहा है, शरीर के लिए योगा मिल रहा है. 1 घंटा रोज अगर आप करें, उसमें 30 से 40 मिनट योगा, 20 मिनट प्राणायाम, 5 मिनट 10 मिनट ध्यान, यू आर गेटिंग द फुल बेनिफिट ऑफ एक्टिविटी ऑन योर माइंड एंड बॉडी. वी ऑल्सो डिस्कस ग्रेटली इन आवर प्रोग्राम, जिसमें मैंने यहाँ लिस्ट कर दी हैं. इसको हमने 3 तरह से डिवाइड किया है. ये 9 प्रैक्टिसेस हैं. दीज आर कॉल्ड माइंड बॉडी प्रैक्टिसेस दैट हैव प्रूवन साइंटिफिक बेनिफिट, पब्लिश्ड इन लिटरेचर एंड आर एविडेंस बेस्ड. ग्रेटिट्यूड, आभार मानना ईश्वर का, माँ बाप का, समाज का, अपने प्रियजनों का. सेल्फ कंपैशन, दिस इज समथिंग न्यू. हिंदुस्तान में हम लोग अपने को कंपैशनेट नहीं देते. अपने आप को प्यार करना जरूरी है, क्योंकि जो अपने आप को प्यार नहीं करता वो दूसरे को प्यार नहीं कर सकता. एंड सेल्फ रिजुविनेशन, हैव सम टाइम टू सिट इन क्वाइट मेडिटेशन एंड rejuvenate yourself from the daily chatter and the daily physical stresses. ये 3 जो है simple practices हैं. 2 से 5 मिनट आप कर सकते हैं in the morning or in the evening, and they give you immediate benefit of mind body wellness. On a long term basis and daily basis, regular basis, yoga, pranayama and meditation अगर आप कर रहे हैं, that is the biggest benefit to your mind body connection. और 3 चीजें आपको ऑल्सो माइंड बॉडी को स्ट्रेस को कम करती हैं. वॉलंटियरिंग, कनेक्टिंग एंड बिलोंगिंग. सेवा करना, किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के थ्रू, किसी भी चैरिटेबल के थ्रू आप वॉलंटियर करिए. और कनेक्ट करना जरूरी है. सोशली कनेक्ट करिए, सामाजिक रूप से भी कनेक्ट कीजिए, पारिवारिक रूप से भी कनेक्ट कीजिए और दोस्तों से भी कनेक्ट कीजिए. कनेक्टिविटी, लेकिन अच्छे लोगों से कनेक्ट कीजिए, सत्संग कीजिए. एंड बिलोंग, किसी के साथ जुड़ना, चाहे वो एक रिलीजियस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो या सेमी रिलीजियस या रोटरी क्लब या कोई योगा एसोसिएशन जो बिलोंग करते हैं, this gives you a great long-term benefit of modulating your stress and making you happy and healthy. So ये practices जो हैं, we discuss in detail and give you the science behind it, and we also practice in our program on a daily basis as we go along on a 4-week period. 4 हफ्ते में हम ये सारी practices एक साथ करते हैं. आपकी आदतें जो हैं, जो आपके साथ आपके शरीर में और आपके मस्तिष्क में प्रॉब्लम कर रही हैं, वो आदतें, habits also prevent you from being active. Habits prevent you from eating right. Habits also make you liable to go towards intoxicants such as smoking and alcohol, which may have deleterious effect on your body. तो उनको कैसे करते हैं? Habit तब तक कंट्रोल नहीं होंगी जब तक आपका माइंड और थॉट कंट्रोल नहीं होंगी, और माइंड और थॉट तब तक नहीं कंट्रोल होंगी जब तक आपका स्ट्रेस नहीं कंट्रोल होगा. And that is wherein lies the benefit of the program that we're talking about, which helps you really adopt scientific practices to control your thought, control your mind, and thereby get healthy habits. You have to create new habits. पहली हैबिट तो ये है, अगर आप ज्वाइन करेंगे वेलनेस प्रोग्राम, हमारे साथ सत्संग करेंगे, योगा ध्यान प्राणायाम करेंगे, अच्छी अच्छी बातें सुनेंगे, अच्छी अच्छी चीजें सीखेंगे, तो उनको अपने आप अपने जीवन में आप लाएंगे. जब उनको ले आएंगे, जब अच्छी आदत आ जाए, तब बुरी आदत छोड़िए. बुरी आदत को एकदम छोड़ना बड़ा मुश्किल है. You are by nature a person of habit. Everything that you do is a habit. आपने 5 साल की उम्र में साइकिल चलाना सीखा, आज आप 50 साल के हो गए हैं, आपने 40 साल साइकिल नहीं चलाई है, लेकिन साइकिल चलाने की हैबिट अभी भी आपके ब्रेन में इम्प्रिंटेड है. आप साइकिल पे बैठेंगे, 2 मिनट में साइकिल चलानी आ जाएगी. तो क्या आपकी साइकिल चलाने की हैबिट चली गई? नहीं. 45 साल आपने यूज नहीं करी, लेकिन हैबिट तो नहीं गई. कोई भी बुरी आदत कभी नहीं जाती. सब संस्कार आपके सबकॉन्शियस में जाके बैठ जाते हैं, उनको कभी भी वो उभर सकते हैं. संस्कार अच्छे होंगे, हैबिट अच्छी होगी, तो वो अपने आप क्वाइट रहेंगे नीचे. एंड देयरफॉर वी टीच यू हाउ टू क्रिएट न्यू हैबिट, create a substitution, and thereby not let the bad habits manifest in your life, such as inactivity, poor diet, and stress. So that was in short. And those of you who are interested, आप सेरीमेट डारन पे जाइए, IWS पे लिंक कीजिए. नवंबर 16 से हमारा पहला प्रोग्राम शुरू हो रहा है, जो दिसंबर 17 तक जाएगा. उसमें 2 घंटे का प्रोग्राम है. 40 मिनट में आप यू विल लिसन द साइंस. उसके बाद 15-20 मिनट क्वेश्चन आंसर. 1 घंटा आप स्वामी दयादीपानंद जी के साथ योगा ध्यान प्राणायाम करेंगे लाइव. तो देखिए कितना आनंद आएगा. आपको भी आनंद आएगा, हमको भी आनंद आएगा. तो we'll be waiting for you, and let us begin this journey together and make sure कि हमारी डायबिटीज, ब्लड प्रेशर, कोलेस्ट्रॉल ये सब खत्म हो जाए, इनकी दवाइयाँ कम हो जाएं, इन पे खर्चे कम हो जाएं, इनसे साइड इफेक्ट खत्म हो जाएं, हमको सर्जरी ना करानी पड़े, हमको उसका दर्द ना करना पड़े. तो आई एम रियली एक्साइटेड. प्लीज डू कम एंड जॉइन अस. हम आपका इंतजार करेंगे, मैं और स्वामी जी, और बहुत आनंद आएगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sushil Sharma, for a brief introduction about the integrated wellness science and practice. Yes, as readily agreed by both our speakers, Dr. Pratik and Dr. Mahesh, we need to have an integrated approach when it comes to lifestyle disorders. Not only lifestyle disorder, autoimmune disorder like type 1 diabetes. So taking care of the body, mind and soul, that can help us to lead a happy and better life, that can show us a path towards wellness. Now I invite a special guest by name Anil Dubey, who participated in the program IWSP Batch 1 conducted by Cerimed, to share his experience in brief what IWSP means for him. What is his experience? Anil Dubey.
Thank you, Swami ji. Thank you, Dr. Sharma ji. मेरा नाम अनिल दुबे है. Actually, basically, I am working in the diabetes segment for last 14 years. I work with the company called Bayer, as well as currently I am working in the Nipro. बट मैं डायबिटीज केयर में काम तो करता था, बट आई डोंट हैव द टू मच नॉलेज, सो आई इन्वॉल्व ओनली इन बिजनेस एंड सेल्स. सो ड्यू टू द 14 years in experience, which I feel that कि हमें 14 years में काफी स्ट्रेस था, सेल्स का काफी प्रेशर, काफी टूरिंग जॉब थी, तो फूड हैबिट काफी चेंज थे, बिकॉज आई मोस्टली ट्रेवल इन द ईस्ट इंडिया एंड साउथ इंडिया, सो फूड हैबिट काफी डिफरेंट था. टाइम मैनेजमेंट कुछ भी नहीं था. और फिर मैंने वेट गेन करना शुरू कर दिया, एंड नो डाइट, नो एक्सरसाइज, नथिंग, एंड काफी स्ट्रेस रहता था. इवन आई लॉस माई हेयर फॉल ऑल्सो, मेरे को लगना मेरे बाल गिरने लगे, एंड देन वेट भी काफी मैंने गेन किया. फिर मैं रामकृष्ण मिशन से भी काफी एसोसिएटेड था, बट मैंने IWSP प्रोग्राम शुरू किया. और स्टार्टिंग के 1-2 प्रोग्राम में मुझे थोड़ा सा मतलब अनईजी लगा कि मैं कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं कर पाऊंगा, बट मेरे को महाराज जी का गाइडेंस मिला, शर्मा जी का सपोर्ट मिला, और हमने इसको डेडिकेट किया कि मैं मॉर्निंग वॉक से शुरू करता हूँ, जो कि मेरे लिए काफी टफ था, क्योंकि मैं रात को 12 बजे 1 बजे तक लैपटॉप ऑन करके काम करना, और फिर मुझे सुबह अर्ली मॉर्निंग 5 o'clock पे उठ के वॉक करना मेरे लिए काफी टफ था. बट मैंने उस दिन डिसाइड किया कि मैं 10 o'clock सो जाऊंगा. आई स्विच ऑफ माई मोबाइल and I slept, and morning 5 o'clock I alarm, my mobile is alarming. Immediately I wake up and start walking. After 1 hour when I return back walk, then I said ki now what I will do. Then immediately I start the daily routine job. Then 6:30 I free, again I did the puja and all. The 7:30 that day I realized कि पहले तो मैं 10 बजे सो के 8 बजे सो के उठा करता था, कभी 9 बजे सो के उठा करता था. अभी मैं 7:30 पे हर चीज करके फ्री हूँ, और मैं काफी लाइट फील कर रहा था. देन मैंने अपने फूड हैबिट को चेंज किया, जैसा कि शर्मा सर ने सजेस्ट किया कि आप प्लेट को जो है 4 पार्ट में डिवाइड कीजिए. होल ग्रेन को मैंने किया. इमीडिएटली आई स्टॉप द टी. मैंने मिल्क प्रोडक्ट को बंद किया, जो कि मेरे लिए काफी टफ था. मेरे लिए 15 years में मैं मोर देन 10 टी या 12 टी तो मैं डेली कॉमन था मेरे लिए. मैंने सडनली चाय बंद किया, जिसकी वजह से मुझे एसिडिटी की प्रॉब्लम इमीडिएटली खत्म हुई, और मुझे काफी अच्छा फील होने लगा. 1-2 दिन मुझे वीकनेस थी, फिर मैंने कंटिन्यूअसली फ्रूट लेना शुरू किया. मोनो फ्रूट मैंने मॉर्निंग में लिया, आफ्टरनून में मैं सलाद लेता था, और इवनिंग में 1 टाइम कुक्ड फूड. बट इन तीनों चीजों में बहुत कॉमन ये था कि हर चीज मेरा टाइम था. मेरी सर्केडियन जो सर्किल थी, मेरे को 8:30 पे मैं ब्रेकफास्ट ले लेता था, 12 o'clock पे मैं लंच ले लेता था, और 7 o'clock पे मैं डिनर ले लेता था, और मैं 9 o'clock में सो जाता था. मैंने ये प्रोग्राम 1 महीना 10 दिन कंटिन्यूअसली किया, और अभी भी मैं कर रहा हूँ. उससे मैंने 2 चीजें देखी. मैंने कुछ भी एक्स्ट्रा नहीं किया, कुछ की मैंने आई नेवर स्पेंड सिंगल मनी फॉर दैट. आई स्टॉप्ड माई हैबिट, and what I found that I lost approx 7 kg weight in मतलब 45 days, जो कि मेरे लिए काफी बड़ी चीज थी. 7 kg. और मैं फ्रेंकली स्पीकिंग आई कैन शो माय वीडियो आल्सो, मेरे काफी हेयर लॉस हो चुके थे, और पिछले 15-20 दिनों में आई रियलाइज दैट कि मेरे हेयर फॉलिकल काफी डबल ग्रो कर रहे हैं, और मेरी चाय की हैबिट छूट गई, जो कभी सोचा नहीं था. आज मेरे को 2 महीने हो गए मैंने शुगर नहीं लिया है. सॉल्ट में मैंने पोटेशियम मैंने सॉल्ट ही बंद कर दिया. मैंने थोड़ा बहुत आयोडीन जो भी सब्जियों में जो पड़ जाती है वही खाता हूँ, एक्सेस सॉल्ट में नहीं लेता. सारे बाहर के फूड आइटम मैंने बंद किए. ओवरऑल इन नट सेल्स मैं आपको बताऊं कि इस समय मैं काफी एनर्जेटिक फील कर रहा हूँ, और काफी बेटर फील कर रहा हूँ. लाइट वेट हो गया हूँ, और अच्छा लग रहा है, काफी चीजें बेटर लग रही हैं. बट ये है कि मैंने अपने टाइम को मैनेज किया है, और बाकी स्वामी जी का और शर्मा सर का सपोर्ट मुझे काफी मिला. इन्होंने मुझे रेगुलर गाइड किया. स्वामी जी ने मुझे डाइट से रिलेटेड काफी काउंसिल की कि नहीं आप ये खाइए, ये ना खाइए, ये चीजें बेटर है आपके हेल्थ के लिए. और सबसे बड़ी बात कि मेरा ब्लड प्रेशर काफी शूट किया करता था, बढ़ा रहता था, और ब्लड प्रेशर मेरा एकदम वेल कंट्रोल्ड है. मुझे अभी फिलहाल तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि मुझे भी किसी चीज की जरूरत है. बस मैं इसी चीज को कंटिन्यूअसली प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ. मॉर्निंग में 1 hour में योगा करता हूँ, और अपना डाइट में कंटिन्यूअसली मेंटेन कर रहा हूँ. Thank you so much ji.
Thank you very much, Anil, for sharing your personal experience. Yes, diabetes can be reversed, hypertension can be reversed, dyslipidemia can be reversed. If you are in stress, you can be free from stress. So that's what integrated approach can do. So understanding the science along with the ancient wisdom, that's what integrated approach means for me. So this month, November month being the World Diabetes month, let us spread this positive message, integrated approach to lifestyle disorders as a whole, focusing more on diabetes. Few questions we take up and we close the session. First question for Dr. Pratik. Already he has answered in the chat box I saw. You can just unmute and explain the same thing what you have mentioned in the chat box. Pratik.
So, namaskar. The बहुत ही बढ़िया session था from all the three people. Thank you for inviting me. So the question was, what is the difference and variation in fasting, random blood glucose, A1C, and actual glucose? So fasting और PP का जो system है, वो शायद इंडिया में ही लोग लैब में कराते हैं. I guess हमारे यहाँ mainly सारा जो fasting पे ही titrate करते हैं, HbA1c पे titrate करते हैं. पर HbA1c जो होता है, जो पेशेंट प्रिक करके देखता है, उसका HbA1c से कनेक्ट करना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. और जैसे महेश जी ने CGM की बात कही, बट इसका एक्सेस बहुत कम लोगों के पास रहता है. या सो आई थिंक द सिंपल थिंग इज, जो अपन फिंगर प्रिक करते हैं, प्री मील करते हैं, और यदि 2 घंटे पोस्ट मील भी करे, वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वेज ऑफ डूइंग इट इज, स्पेशली इन टाइप 2 डायबिटीज, रोज करने से आप हर महीने भर में यदि 2 दिन पर कंटिन्यूस करें, तो 7 पॉइंट प्रोफाइल करें, और देखें कि उसमें से 70% रीडिंग्स यदि आपने 70 से 70 to 180 के बीच में रहे, तो HbA1c यूजुअली ठीक रहता है. और so I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Thank you. Mahesh, I have a question for you. Do you find any placebo effect in the management of mainly, I think it's on the borderline diabetes? Unmute yourself, Mahesh.
Placebo effect is probably reinforcing the effect of diet and exercise. So I don't think there is anything specific with respect to placebo effect. But sometimes when some patients don't want to do diet and exercise, we use a small dose of metformin to tell them that I will be remove this drug if you do regular walking and exercise. So I will say mild effect of a drug helps motivate the patient to change their lifestyle. So I have seen many patients newly diagnosed HbA1c of 7.5. But if I tell them to only do diet and exercise and then the sugars will come under control, they will think that, oh, I don't have the disease. Because if you don't give any tablet, they think that I don't have the disease. So initially I used to do that, but I realized that most of them don't come back at all. So then I don't know what they have done correctly or not. So I start the tablet, then I tell them come back after 1 month. If the sugar is very well controlled, I will remove the drug, then you check again. So that I think it is like a switch in the brain that tells that, okay, if I don't do, I will be on drug. If I don't do, I will be on insulin next. So that is something that if the mind, in order to motivate the mind, you need a mild effect drug to begin with in patients with HbA1c which is not very high.
If I can answer, also add to that, but यदि अपन, I mean, motivation के लिए और psychologically, जैसा आपने महेश जी ने कहा, अपन we all do those tricks to get it done. पर यदि आप studies की तरफ देखें, तो many of the tablet trials, you have placebo control studies, right? तो patient का जो entry पे होता है, उसको एक में active ingredient नया drug दिया जाता है, दूसरे में placebo दिया जाता है. And if you look in the studies, on average, किसी में थोड़ा सा प्लेसिबो से फायदा भी होता है, जैसे महेश जी ने बोला, बट मोस्ट पीपल प्लेसिबो देंगे तो शुगर कंट्रोल ओवर टाइम डिटीरिएट होगा. सो या,
थैंक यू. डॉक्टर सुशील, व्हाट आर योर कमेंट्स ऑन घी?
First of all, anything in small quantity taken together with an integrated approach is fine. But anything in excess is going to harm you. Now, if you already have pre-existing heart disease, आपको heart attack हो गया है, artery में blockage है, stent हो गया है, bypass हो गया है, तो घी जो है वो 98% saturated fat है, तो वो आपके लिए अच्छा नहीं है. देखिए, 1 चम्मच आपने कहने को घी डाला, अब चम्मच में भी फर्क होता है, चम्मच 5 ग्राम की भी होती है, चम्मच 15 की भी होती है ना. तो सबके, जिसे कहते हैं चुटकी भर डाला, सबकी चुटकी भी अलग अलग होती है. So I think that अगर आपके arteries में blockage है, आपको stent डल गया है, bypass डल गया है, तो science ये कहती है कि you should minimize on your saturated fat and you should increase your polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fat. तो उसमें vegetable oils have more benefit. Taste के लिए अगर आप 2-4 ग्राम घी ले लेते हैं, so that's a different story. But by and large, I think that if you eat a whole food plant-based diet, which is rich in rainbow colored vegetables, colored fruits, all kinds of legumes, beautiful legumes we get in India, rajma, chana, kala chana, hara chana, safed chana, along with whole grain. And the whole grains are beautiful. Once you get the taste of it, my tongue rebels if I eat a safed chapati or safed rice. It just doesn't taste to me because there's so many beautiful grains available. Once you begin the permutation combination, cooking with them, you'll realize. हमको इंडिया में पिछली बार आए थे तो सीमा जी ने introduced me to Indian millet, and actually we got a lot of that, and I love it. Indian millet की खिचड़ी जो है, अब मैं सफेद चावल की खिचड़ी नहीं खा सकता. So I think the basic diet should be whole food, plant-based diet. Minimize 4 white components: the sugar, the salt, the white flour, and also milk and milk products. अभी वो थोड़ा कलर के मैंने कहा तो अभी दिवाली आ रही है तो उसमें रंगीन तरह की मिठाइयाँ होती हैं, वो रंग नहीं है. That is not color, that's added color. I'm talking about the natural color in sweets and vegetables. गुलाब जामुन काला गुलाब जामुन नहीं है, it's totally white. White sugar, white rice, white flour, and white ghee is in gulab jamun. It is roasted on the outside and looks colored. So that's not the color I'm talking about. So in my opinion, अगर आप regulated life कर रहे हैं, आपको obesity नहीं है, disease नहीं है, आप रोज योगा ध्यान प्राणायाम करते हैं, बाकी सब जीवन पद्धति कर रहे हैं, तो आपको अगर cultural या taste reason में 1 चम्मच घी लेना है, तो I have no objection to that. But with the provisions that I outlined earlier.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sushil, for your wonderful explanation on the ghee. So now we are about to close our session. Before I ask Seema ji to do the vote of thanks, yeah, it was wonderful having all of you, Dr. Pratik, Dr. Mahesh, Dr. Sushil, and we all are very happy to learn so many new aspects when it comes to integrated approach. So we have to take care of body, mind and soul to achieve the highest wellness, which every being is looking at. And to begin, we should start somewhere, start serving others. That's what Swami Vivekananda said, selfless service. Selflessness is godliness. So this month being World Diabetes Month, let us spread this message of integrated approach for all our health issues and wellness. Before I ask Seema ji to do the closing note, I request Anirban ji talk about his service to humanity on behalf of Cerimed. Anirban.
Namaskar, Swamiji. Thank you very much. I think, I've got so used to you and Dr. Sharma that, I can exactly recollect what you're going to say next. So we have been so thickly doing this program for last so many months. I think prior to that 3 months, we conceived the whole idea and we tried to make it, as a module, what it will be, what it will consist of, and the entire platform design and everything. So I think it is almost there, kind of there on my skin, the whole thing, whatever you spoke about. So having said that, it's an excellent program. I think I got to, also imbibe so many things, the way Mr. Anil said. For me, I got into a group which talks about millets in India. And I think India is full of millets. There are so many varieties of millets which I didn't know. I being from Bangalore, I know ragi mudde very well. And I knew a few more millets, jawar, bajra, because I'm from north part of India. But I also came to know about finger millets. I came to know about so many other millets which are amazing, like the idlis, what is being made from some of the millets was superb. So having said this, this changed my life, this changed so many people's life, and I think it has got a huge potential to change everybody's life, whoever becomes a part of this program. And that could include even doctors, like one of our doctors, Dr. Shweta, who attended. She's a nephrologist, and she spoke so highly about this program in one of the videos she gave us. So I would now run a couple of promo videos what we made for IWSP, and thereby, Swamiji, that's the way in which we can probably spread the word and let others also learn from whatever we could learn. And this is an excellent opportunity, and it comes completely free of cost. When you told about the Seva thing, I think that is what we are doing for the humanity, right? So all of us put together. So this is what is the program all about. And it starts on 17th, which is India time, morning 6 o'clock. But in US time, it will be evening 7:30. So we will do a rerun of this program in the evening also. So you do log in, as what Dr. Sharma also mentioned, to IWSP, and you can join this program. So I will just try to do the, I think this is what was the presentation. So visit our website, visit our Facebook page, do log into our YouTube channel, and try and subscribe or try and get into IWSP. And we would all love to have all of you there, and we can jointly enjoy the benefits of the learning what these two esteemed people are going to share with us. So thank you, Swamiji, for this opportunity.
Can you
Thank you very
play
much.
Shweta's video also if you have 2 minutes?
Yeah, I have. Maybe Dr. If Chaviji can start, I will just pick up that video and I'll play it. I'll just take a couple of minutes to.
Thank you very much, Anirban. Before you show the video, I have Adiguru Yoga Science. I think he has a question. Adiguru Yoga Science. I'm seeing his hand raised. Okay.
You want me to unmute, Swamiji?
Adiguru Yoga Science. I think it's unmuted. Okay. He's not able to come on the screen anyway. So can you play the video, Nirban?
I will just request Chaviji to do the vote of thanks. Meanwhile, just I look for that video. It is there.
Seemaji,
Archives.
Chaviji.
सीमा जी आप करिए
अनम्यूट करिए सीमा जी अनम्यूट करिए हाँ
जी जी
या
ओम सभी को प्रणाम। आज का कार्यक्रम बहुत अच्छा रहा। इसमें जो हमारे डॉक्टर प्रतीक जी, डॉक्टर महेश जी, डॉक्टर सुशील जी और बाद में अनिरुद्ध जी ने जो अपना वीडियो दिखाया, मुझे लगता है कि आज की जानकारी बहुत ही फायदेमंद रही होगी सभी की। और जो हमारे लोग जुड़े हैं इसमें, कुछ लोग बाहर से जुड़े हैं और मुझे लगता है थोड़ा सा इंग्लिश में उनको थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम रही। मैं मैसेज भी कहीं के पर्सनल भी पढ़ रही थी, मुझे भी आ रहे थे। और सभी का लेक्चर बहुत अच्छा था और बहुत अच्छी अच्छी जानकारी दी गई। और डॉक्टर सुशील जी का मुझे लगता है कि सबको ज़्यादा समझ में आया, क्योंकि वो हिंदी में था और आसान था, सरल भाषा में था। और मैं उनकी भी तारीफ करूंगी, डॉक्टर प्रतीक जी की, कि जो बाद में उन्होंने विदेश में रहकर भी बहुत अच्छी हिंदी बोली। हिंदी हमारी मातृभाषा है, थोड़ा जो विदेश में रहते हैं, मेरे बच्चे भी विदेश में हैं, तो थोड़ा डेली यूज में थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है। लेकिन ओवरऑल जो है, स्वामी जी ने जो कार्यक्रम रखा, हमारी जो उत्तराखंड की टीम है, ये इंडियन योगा एसोसिएशन की, उनके माध्यम से ये पूरी दुनिया को जागरूक करने के लिए बहुत अच्छा कार्यक्रम था। मैं सभी डॉक्टर्स का और सभी मेरे मुख्य अतिथि यहाँ पर जो उपस्थित हैं, डॉक्टर ईश्वर भारद्वाज सर, हमारी छवि जी, हमारे और भी जो साथी हैं, मेरे अपने भी जो योगा से जुड़े हैं, हम स्वामी रामदेव जी से जुड़े हैं। तो स्वामी रामदेव जी तो अक्सर कहा करते हैं, जो आज का कंक्लूजन निकला है, कि हम सबको जो है योगा मेडिटेशन अवश्य करना चाहिए, थोड़ा एक्सरसाइज करना चाहिए। यदि हम दिन भर में जो 24 घंटे हमारे पास है, उसमें से 1 से 1.5 घंटा यदि हम अपने लिए प्रतिदिन लगाते हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि शायद फिर हम बीमार नहीं हो सकते। हमारी पूरा दिनचर्या जो है अनुशासित हो जाती है। तो अनुशासित जीवन के साथ हम फिर स्वास्थ्य का लाभ लेते हैं। तो इसी के साथ मैं सभी का दिल से, हृदय से, तो सभी को मैं प्रणाम करती हूँ और सभी का मैं धन्यवाद करती हूँ। और उम्मीद ही नहीं, पूर्ण विश्वास है कि आगे हम फिर शीघ्र मिलेंगे और अलग तरह की जानकारी के साथ। ओम प्रणाम।
थैंक यू सीमा जी। अनिर्बाण।
Yes, sir. Can I share my screen
सभी
now?
को ये सूचित करेंगे, हमको बहुत ही अच्छा लगा, सबके साथ मिलके सीखने का सहयोग मिला। और हम सब लोगों का जिम्मेदारी यही है कि जो भी जानकारी आज हमने हासिल की है, हम जाके अपने कार्य क्षेत्र में इसको आगे बढ़ाएं और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को ये विषय हम पहुंचाएं, और सब मिलके वही एक निरोग की तरफ, स्वास्थ्य की तरफ, असल स्वास्थ्य की तरफ हम सब चलें। वही रोज़ हम करें योगा और रहें स्वस्थ। यही संदेश के साथ अभी हम निवेदन करते हैं अनिर्बाण जी से, एक छोटा सा वीडियो प्ले करते हैं, जहाँ पे एक प्रैक्टिसिंग नेफ्रोलॉजिस्ट उनके लिए वेलनेस प्रोग्राम क्या मानता है।
Thank you, Swamiji.
एक मिनट स्वामी जी, इसका रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जाए सबको ना?
यस, इसका रिकॉर्ड।
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Shweta Priyadarshini and I am a practicing pediatric nephrologist at Apollo Hospital, Jubilee Hills in Hyderabad. So basically I have been associated with the SEDIMED group since last few months, and through them I was introduced to the IWSP. Now when I started this program, I had a fair idea of what this program would have to offer. Basically, like, I'm a doctor myself and also have done quite a few courses in wellness, nutrition, lifestyle and all. But then this program was an absolute surprise for me. It was packaged in a very different way. The scientific contents have been presented in a very simple way, such that it makes you want to make subtle changes in your lifestyle and hence getting its benefit. So basically Dr. Sushil Sharma, he dissects the why of certain dietary habits in a beautiful way. And of course Dr. Swami Dayadeepanandan has a very calm command over yoga, and you will want to, after seeing the thing, you will want to practice yoga as a daily routine. And of course, Dr. Sushil Sharma's talk about stress management in life, that is so apt for the present circumstances, for the present generation. It's very, very beneficial. So this program, the beauty of this program is it does not preach, it does not tell you that, no, go ahead and do this, go ahead and do these changes to your life and it will benefit you. Of course, it tells you the benefit, but it does not dictate you. And it makes you want to bring those changes within yourself. And hence, the changes, I would say, they happen at a very subtle level, at its own pace. So thank you so much, Dr. Sushil Sharma, Dr. Swami Dayadeepanandan ji, and Anirban ji for this wonderful program. I wish you all success, and I just hope that it reaches out to as many people as possible and people benefit from it immensely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anirban ji, for this wonderful video. I know many of my members of IYA Uttarakhand are conducting regular yoga shibits. The purpose of sharing this video was we have to combine both yoga and science. हमारा एक उद्देश्य था कि सबके साथ ये शेयर करने का, वो यही था हम सब लोग अपने अपने जगह में जहाँ योग शिविर हम कर रहे हैं उसके साथ आप साइंस जोड़ लीजिए, ताकि लोगों के मन में इसके बारे में अच्छी जागरूकता आएगी, तब जाके अंदर से वो एक नया हैबिट फॉर्म करके वो लोग करेंगे और लाभान्वित होंगे। अभी हम निवेदन करते हैं ईश्वर भारद्वाज जी, जो हमारे चेयरपर्सन हैं, प्रेसिडेंट है इंडियन योगा एसोसिएशन उत्तराखंड चैप्टर के, उनके मैसेज के लिए। अनम्यूट करिए ईश्वर जी, अनम्यूट। हाँ
जी,
हाँ,
बहुत अच्छा ये सेशन रहा, जो अपने स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर्स आके लोगों को उसकी जानकारी दी है, बहुत उपयोगी जानकारी है। और मैं समझता हूँ कि आज इसकी बहुत आवश्यकता है। हम अपने अगर भोजन को ठीक कर लें तो बहुत सारी समस्याओं से बच सकते हैं। और भोजन को हम इस दृष्टि से, जैसे डॉक्टर सुशील जी ने बड़ा अच्छा समझाया, हम उस दृष्टि से भोजन का चयन करें तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इस बीमारी से हम बहुत हद तक दूर रहेंगे, बच सकेंगे। और जो अगर किसी को हो जाए तो उसके लिए हम योगासन, प्राणायाम और ध्यान, इनका प्रयोग करके भी इससे छुटकारा पा सकते हैं। योग का अर्थ, योग के अंतर्गत तो प्राणायाम और ध्यान आसन सब आ जाते हैं। हम वहाँ योगासन कहें, प्राणायाम कहें और ध्यान कहें तो योग के तीनों अंग हैं। इसलिए योग का अर्थ संपूर्ण रूप से योग है, जिसमें ये सब आ जाते हैं। तो अगर प्रयोग करें तो योगासन और प्राणायाम और ध्यान अलग अलग कर सकते हैं। अगर योग कहें तो योग का मतलब संपूर्ण है, अलग ध्यान और प्राणायाम कहने की आवश्यकता नहीं रहती। तो योगासनों का प्रयोग करके, ध्यान का प्रयोग, प्राणायाम का प्रयोग करके हम अपना दैनंदिन जीवन को संतुलित कर सकते हैं। साथ ही आहार की ओर ध्यान दें तो इस समस्या से निजात पा सकते हैं। बहुत अच्छा ये सेशन रहा, बहुत अच्छा। डॉक्टर्स जो हमारे बीच आए उन्होंने हमें बताया, इसके लिए उन सब का बहुत बहुत आभार। और स्वामी दयादीपानंद जी जो सेक्रेटरी हमारे, इन्होंने ये खुद भी डॉक्टर हैं, मेडिकल डॉक्टर, साथ ही डायबिटीज के स्पेशलिस्ट हैं। तो इनका जो योगदान है वो महत्वपूर्ण है। और आपने जो हमारे सामने दूसरे अपने सहयोगियों को, अपने मित्रों को यहाँ प्रस्तुत किया, इसके लिए मैं आपका भी आभारी हूँ। उन प्रस्तुतकर्ता जो हमारे डॉक्टर्स हैं उनका तो आभार मैं इंडियन योग एसोसिएशन के उत्तराखंड चैप्टर की ओर से वो भी करता हूँ। और जो बहन सीमा और दूसरी नाम भूल गया मैं,
सीमा जी, छवि जी,
इन दोनों ने जो आयोजन को बहुत ही सुंदर ढंग से संपादित किया, इसके लिए उनका भी बहुत आभार। जो इसमें जुड़े हैं उन सब का भी बहुत आभार। और जो उनको ज्ञान प्राप्त हुआ उसका खुद तो लाभ उठाए, दूसरों को भी उसके बारे में बताएं, इसके लिए उनका भी बहुत आभार। मैं फिर से आप सभी का धन्यवाद करता हूं और आशा करता हूं इसी प्रकार का भविष्य में भी सहयोग आपका प्राप्त होता रहेगा। ओम शांति।
ओम। हमारे बीच में हैं हमारे इंस्पिरेशन डॉक्टर जयदीप आर्या जी, जो पूरा पतंजलि से टीम लाए, रामकृष्ण मिशन में योग शिविर लगाए, 2-3 योग शिविर, जिसमें बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स, नर्सेस, पेशेंट्स बहुत लाभान्वित हुए। और हमारा जो उत्तराखंड चैप्टर IYA का जो शुरुआत हुआ डॉक्टर जयदीप आर्या जी के बहुत सहदिल मेहनत से हुआ। तो मैं उनसे निवेदन करता हूं इस अवसर पे जयदीप आर्या जी सभी को अपना संदेशा दें। जयदीप जी।
डॉक्टर जयदीप जी इंडियन योग एसोसिएशन के सचिव भी हैं और बहुत ही कर्मठ एक कार्यकर्ता है, युवा है, हरियाणा योग समिति के अध्यक्ष हैं। उनका बहुत ही भागदौड़ का काम रहता, फिर भी उन्होंने समय दिया, इसके लिए भी उनका आभार और मैं उनका स्वागत करता हूं इस कार्यक्रम में।
गुरुजी प्रणाम। पूज्य डॉक्टर ईश्वर भारद्वाज जी, पूज्य स्वामी दीपानंद जी, और हमारे इस पूरे IYA चैप्टर की फाउंडेशन अभी रखी जा रही है और उसमें बड़ी भूमिका निभाने वाली हमारी बहन सीमा जी, बहन छवि जी, भाई संजीव जी, महेश जी, अरविंद दत्ता जी, कुसुम जी, सुशील शर्मा जी, अंजनी जी, आप सबका, भास्कर ओली जी, पीयूष जी, बहुत बहुत हृदय से अभिनंदन और स्वागत करते हुए ये एक अद्भुत मैं देख रहा हूँ अवसर, क्योंकि मैं एक कार्यक्रम में व्यस्त था, बस अभी तुरंत अभी ज्वाइन किया और पहुंचकर जैसे मैंने देखा, मैंने कहा एक चांस ले लेता हूँ। 7 से 8 तक था वेबिनार, परंतु मुझे आपके सब लोगों के दर्शन करने थे, आप सबको इस दीपावली की मंगल कामनाएं देनी थी, धनतेरस की मंगल कामनाएं देनी थी। इस नाते मुझे आपने जुड़ने का अवसर दिया। आज का जो विषय है वो हम सब के जीवन से जुड़ा हुआ विषय है। बहुत से लोग तो यूं मानते हैं कि डायबिटीज का एक बड़ा कारण है जेनेटिक, कि माता पिता के माध्यम से, जीन्स के माध्यम से आ गया है। दूसरा अपनी आहारचर्या, जीवनचर्या, और तीसरा हमारी लेस एक्टिविटी। चौथा बड़ा कारण है उसमें स्ट्रेस। 5वां बड़ा कारण है उसमें ओबेसिटी, और ओबेसिटी में भी सबसे बड़ा कारण है सेंट्रल ओबेसिटी। तो आप सब को बहुत गहनता के साथ पूज्य स्वामी दीपानंद जी ने अपनी बात रखी है। ना चाहते हुए पता भी नहीं चलता कि कब कोई विषय का तनाव हमारे हार्मोनल सिक्रीशन को प्रभावित कर देता है और हम स्वस्थ होते होते धीरे धीरे किसी ना किसी रोग से ग्रसित हो जाते हैं। तो आप सब लोग स्वस्थ रहें, योग, प्राणायाम, ध्यान साधना के साथ अपने हार्मोनल बैलेंस को बना के रखें, अपने इमोशनल बैलेंस को बना के रखें, आपके थॉट को बैलेंस को बना के रखें। इसी भाव के साथ आप सबको मेरा बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन, प्रणाम। और ये इंटीग्रेटेड मेडिसिन को लेकर, इंटीग्रेटेड थेरेपी को लेकर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी सक्रिय हो गई है और हमने हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट में भी इस प्रयास को आरंभ कर दिया है। बहुत जल्दी आप देखेंगे आने वाला समय इंटीग्रेटेड मेडिसिन का है, जहां एलोपैथी का बेस्ट ऑफ द एलोपैथी यूज होगी, बेस्ट ऑफ द योगा, बेस्ट ऑफ द आयुर्वेदा एंड बेस्ट ऑफ द होम्योपैथी विल बी यूज्ड इन द फेवर ऑफ द पेशेंट। तो आने वाला समय एक अद्भुत समय है जहां हमारे मेडिकल डॉक्टर्स भी एक दूसरे के बुराई करते हुए नजर नहीं आएंगे, उल्टा एक दूसरे का सहयोग लेते हुए नजर आएंगे। इतनी बात कहते हुए आप सबका हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं, आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, प्रणाम।
इसी के साथ हम आज का अपना ये सत्र को यहाँ समाप्त करते हैं और यही जिम्मेदारी लेके कि ये संदेशा को हम सब तक पहुँचाएंगे। ओम शांति 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 ही। हरि ओम तत्सत।